Hey there. Wanted to give a big thank you to you guys for having me reach 100 subs. Well, I'm pretty much at like 200 right now. So by the time I uploaded my last video, I was at like 90. So I was like, okay, I should get 100, hopefully, in this next video. But y'all completely killed it, and y'all, I'm at like 190 right now. I'll put it up here. So I'm like, oh my god, I was barely getting a celebration ready for 100. So thank you guys so much. I'm really glad you guys are enjoying the video on my month back. So I'm really grateful that I can make content that people are liking right now and stuff like that. And I hope to continue to make better stuff that people like and hope to improve my quality so, it's more enjoyable for y'all. Anyways, this is going to be a melee slash summoner playthrough, so I'm going to be using variations of armor that give me benefits of both a summon and melee damage. Not going to be pre-mech Duke Fish Run just because I want to highlight more of the weapons, but I will be doing Empress of Light Daytime for this one. Alright, thank you guys. Bye. Alrighty, we're doing our melee hybrid. I really enjoyed doing the last one, so I figured I'd go ahead and do this one. For armor, we're going to be aiming for the Flinks Fur Coat, which is like the actual staple for anything summoner related early game, alongside any high defense headpiece on leggings. For our main weapons, we're going to be using mainly yo-yos because you can get the counter rate pretty easily alongside with strings, so it just makes it easier to get accessories for it. And for our summoning weapon, we're going to be using Abigail's Flower alongside the Snapthorn. Now, I know that the Flinks staff is probably better because of the DPS and more consistent DPS, but I like using the Abigail's Flower more since it's easier to get and I don't have to like go all the way and grind it for it and stuff like that. Accessories can stay the same. Just use any type of mobility accessories you get early on. There's not really like any like pick and point on it. Just use Hermes boots, use anything that gives you like double jump, stuff like that, a cotton bottle, all that stuff. Having a little bit of an early Eye of Cthulhu spawn, I figured this is a good time to fight it anyway, just because we're not really missing much from our thing besides just the Snapthorn. The armor we're going to be using, or at least what we have right now, is going to be right here. It's nothing crazy, just all the recommended stuff. Defeating Eye of Cthulhu pretty much leaves only one more boss left, is Eater of Worlds, but I decided to go ahead and start the Goblin Army just a little bit early, just because I want to get the Tinkerer's Forge, because I have all these accessories and it'd be really nice to be able to combine them all together. Gonna break the immersion because I want to highlight this. I had used this teleportation potion and it literally took me right next to the shimmer, and I don't know how lucky that is, but I'm just gonna assume it is, so this helped a lot because I was able to make a pylon system right here. Nothing left to get, so we can finally go kill Eater of Worlds. Now, usually I do this way before this point, but since I was making pylons and I was doing the Goblin Army and stuff like that, it took me a little bit longer, but in the long run it should save a lot of time. Next major upgrades are going to be the Queen Bee armor. Now we can make the headpiece and the chestplate for the extra summon and overall damage bonus, and then we can use the molten leggings for the melee part. Now we can also make the high five yo-yo, which is a really good yo-yo that you can get from it, considering that we're going a little more into yo-yos. But afterwards we will get the Knight's Edge whenever we kill Skeletron. We go to the dungeon because we need the Murmasa to make the Knight's Edge. After we get the Knight's Edge, it should be smooth sailing from here. Beside the Knight's Edge, I also craft the Phase Blade. Now, Phase Blade pretty much had no value since 1.4.5, but now you can throw it and it stays in the ground, so it's a nice little support weapon. Not that really good in the wall fight, but it's nice to have for early hard mode. Having Wall of Flesh defeated, that just leaves a couple things we have to do before we get to the mech bosses. Number 1, the armor. Number 2, the weapons. For the armor, we're going to be using the adamantite helmet or the titanium helmet, depending on what you need to get, alongside the frost chestplate and the spider greaves. Now, for the weapons for summoner, you can use the spider staff alongside the spider sentry with the cool whip. For melee weapons, we're just going to be using the Knight's Edge for a bit. The reason why is because I never got a blood moon, so I wasn't able to get an early banana ring, but we will be getting the chain guillotines later. Accessories stay pretty much the same, unless you want to get wings early, but that's all up to you though. I do want to highlight this as well. This is a new weapon from the Dead Cells collab, I'm pretty sure, called the Flint. You can craft it with adamantite and hellstone, and this weapon is so cool to me, dude. This thing has such good AoE for early on. You can get it and stuff like that. It just overall just looks really cool. It's a giant, like, I don't know if it's like a half hammer or something like that, but it just looks so cool. I also want to highlight this as well. Since we had the Cool Whip alongside the Cursed Flame Flask from the Corruption, whenever we hit enemies and inflict Frostbite on it, it does so much extra damage. We can pretty much go ahead and kill the mechanical bosses now. Now I do want to note something, we use pretty much the same stuff for all of them, but after we kill the twins, you do want to get the optic staff since that's pretty much best in slot at this point. After defeating all the mech bosses, that just leaves Plantera left. Now, for the gear we're going to be using for her is the Hollowed Mask alongside the Monk's Shirt and the Spider Greaves. This gives a good balance of both summons and melee damage as well. For the weapons, you can use the True Excalibur and the True Knight's Edge if you want, but I actually go for the Yellow's Yo-Yo because I'm going to be using the Yo-Yo bag, and I feel like DPS-wise it's a lot more consistent. And the staff is going to stay the same. I'm still going to be using the Cool Whip for the extra frostbite. Having Plantera defeated, that just leaves two things to do. One is to get the Terra Prisma, and two is to fight the Pumpkin Moon before Golem. Now, for the armor, it stays relatively the same as the Hollowed Mask, but the reason why we're doing Pumpkin Moon is because we want the the Spooky Chestplate alongside the Squire Graves. Now, we want to get the Terror Blade as our main melee weapon alongside the Deadly Spear Staff as our main summon weapon, so that requires us to do the Solar Eclipse, which should be our next goal. with Empress of Light defeated, this makes everything else pretty easy. So everything's just going to be a boss rush from this point on, but I do want to highlight that the armor we're going to be using for the Moon Lord is going to be the Shinobi helmet alongside the monk shirt with the Valhalla Graves. But if you want to go more minions, you can also use this spooky chestplate, that's also fine. And that concludes our hybrid playthrough. Again, these hybrids are really fun to do. Melee was also really fun to do. The progression was definitely a lot easier than Mage to me, but anyways, before this video ends, I really want to give a big thanks to the people who are supporting on the videos and stuff like that. I'm pretty much at 200 right now, so I am very grateful. I didn't think I'd get ever really that far, honestly. So for the people who did stick around, I do want to actually, never mind. I'll say that for next video. I'll put it in the comments instead of having to say the whole thing. But yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching.